Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh! Woo! Got your top 125 right here. Yes. You like them apples? They taste so good. In my belly. Woo! Well, now, you know what's funny about this? A lot of things are funny about this. I just said to my wife, I said, this is so significant for the Knicks franchise that they got this game from RJ Barrett, because, you know, look, we've had a lot of RJ Barrett conversations over the last 2.5 years. And there are some people who are incredibly high on him. There are some people who are like pretty high on him. Like I would put myself in that category. And then there's a lot of people that are not high on him. And I was like, this is so significant because this to me is the first, you know, you can see what you want to see. This is the first like, oh, okay, this guy's a star game that we've really seen from RJ, in which puts the team on his back down the stretch, makes every shot, makes every play. And my wife looks at me, she's like, he's in his third year, right? I'm like, yeah, he's in his third year. He's 21 years old. And it's just, you know, it's funny because he came with all this promise before he ever entered Duke. So it was like the expectations were on him before he got to college. The expectations stayed on him when he got drafted to the biggest basketball city in the world, and he was the 3rd overall pick. And it's like, I think we some people, I for one do this, forget sometimes that he's 21. He's 21. It's his 3rd year. It's his 3rd year in the NBA. And for 21-year-olds, sometimes, you know, it doesn't happen right away. But you saw the signs. Everybody saw them. If you were willing to look, you saw them. And as Breen has been said multiple times on the broadcast tonight, the stats may not be there, but, you know, RJ Barrett, you could tell he's a better player. And yes, you could tell he's a better player. And then we get tonight, one night or 2 nights, I should say, after the biggest play, arguably, of RJ Barrett's career. Obviously, the defensive stop on DeMar DeRozan. And again, this is one of those. I mean, yeah, you could look at the stat sheet and get a good idea of the game from the stat sheet. But and I tweeted it out a minute ago. This was the worst game of the season for the Knicks by far. By far, this was the worst game of the season. Julius Randle, we'll get to Julius later. I'm in a good mood right now, so I want to keep talking about positives. Julius Randle was abysmal. They hit threes. I should say that. It's weird because now this team is so talented. They could play really badly, but they could hit shots. It's funny because Tibbs spoke so often about last season how you know, you can play well and not hit shots. Tonight was the opposite. They played like shit and they hit shots, but nobody played really well. Like Taj played a good game. I thought Obi had some nice moments, but nobody on the team was playing well. Randle played poorly. I thought Walker, you know, that pass he had that was resulted in the turnover. Don't even get me started. Fournier had some questionable decisions. Alec Burks, questionable decisions. Again, Derrick Rose was kind of they needed him. Because if they didn't have him, they wouldn't have won this game. They would have lost. And these are the games. These are the games that could turn a season. A game where you go on the road against a team missing its 2 best players. The Knicks should have won this game by 30 points. They had no business being in this game at the end. The fact that they didn't cover the spread was mind-boggling to me, but we don't have to dwell on that. They would have lost this game without RJ Barrett. And that's, again, if you're trying to actually do real things in an NBA season, you got to have games like this. And now we get to sit here instead of me bitching and moaning about they're 4-2 and they should be 5-1 or 6-0, blah, 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 blah. I got some tough trap games coming up, then Milwaukee, this, that, and the other thing. Now I get to sit here and be like, okay, 5-1, tied for first place in the East. Are they going to stay there? No, they're not going to stay there. I'll be the first to, because again, you're seeing the little holes in this team. It doesn't matter. They need to be there for right now for when the schedule gets tougher. And a win like this and a performance like this from RJ Barrett is an indication that, like, yeah, Julius isn't the only guy. And when Julius has a bad game, it doesn't mean they're going to lose, because now they got another guy. And I don't think I'm making too much of this, because that's how good this game was. Knicks got a young star on their hands. Feels good to say it. Been a while since we've been able to say that. Okay, got a lot of people that comment in the super chat. We're gonna get to it. Jeremy E. Jeremy, I saw this comment pop up before I even went live. I love it. How much is RJ being as good as he's shown recently changed the ceiling of this team? It changes it more than anything. It was always RJ's ceiling was always the most important. Always the most important X factor for this franchise. Nothing is close. You know, Randle, what do you want to tell me? If Randle shoots 40% from deep versus 34% from, come on. Obi Toppin, I love Obi. You know I'm big on Obi. That ceiling is not there. Quickly, love Emmanuel Quickly. That ceiling is not there. It's RJ. It's RJ because he is the walking, talking, fire-breathing fucking definition of what you need in the NBA to win big in the league today. You need that wing, that two-way wing who can hit the big shots and do it on the other end. And if we're going to get more games like this, ooh, shit. Well, that's interesting. That's the guy you keep out of the Damian Lillard trade. That's the guy. So yes, I would say it's pretty freaking important. Janky AF. RJ comes alive like Frampton. Wow, I love it. Also, shout out to Bill Peto's wonderful passive-aggressive KP injury update. I missed that one. I'll have to go back and I don't know if I can catch that on a clip. KFS is the best. Go Knicks. Thank you very much, Janky. Appreciate that. Great line. RJ comes alive like Frampton. Harry Donor, come on. I was hoping to get a comment from you tonight, but we always appreciate your contribution to the super chat. So kind. Hope you're well. D Black, love RJ delivering like a process server. As someone who has had to serve process before in their life, I appreciate that. But this is a fourth sloppy game. It is. Well, I mean, really, what game hasn't been sloppy? The only game that hasn't been sloppy was the second game against Orlando when they didn't come to play. The Boston game was obviously sloppy. They've been sloppy this season. They have that. Here's the thing: the Knicks are 5-1. The Knicks are first place in the East. The Knicks may wind. I can't do the math in my head. The Knicks may wake up tomorrow as the best offense in the league, and Knicks haven't played that great. Like, they've played well. Don't get me wrong. They're doing some really nice things. They haven't played that great. They're not playing the brand of basketball that we saw them play most of last year, and what got them to 41 and 31 and what got Tibbs the coach of the year and all that stuff. We just have to hope that the best is yet to come, because if they play this type of game against other teams, they won't win. And that goes without saying. So, hopefully getting it out of their system. Only one burn thus far, but once elite arrives, could be ugly. Yeah, you read my mind. Brian Benjamin. Should we be worried about Julius and Quickly? Because Julius has been turning the ball over the past few games, and it's just bad turnovers. So, again, I'm probably on the island on this one. I thought up till tonight, Julius has been fine. I thought he started the season really well, had some iffy moments. Didn't think he had any great games. Had some great stretches. I thought the Chicago game was okay. Didn't close it well. Wasn't the disaster that I thought some people made it out to be. Tonight was a disaster. Tonight was bad. Are we worried about him? No. I think it's just, it's like everything was fine, and then it was a rough game, and then he was getting rookies thrown on him tonight. So he's like, oh, you're going to put a fucking rookie on me, or a second-year player, or whatever player. I'm gonna show you what I could do. And then he just didn't have it, and it took the Knicks out of their offense and was just bad. And it affected his play on the other end of the court, which was the most discouraging thing. He'll be fine. I really do. Maybe I'm naive. I think Julius is going to be fine. Quickly, I think this is a legitimate sophomore slump at this point. I do think it's in his head. But I also think he's going to be fine. I think when you work, when you're a worker, and you combine the work ethic with the fact that, again, Emmanuel Quickley was once upon a time a top 10 recruit. He's going to be okay. He's just not in a great place right now. Funny's in the chat. Put a little gravy and cheese on them cullets for RJ poutine style, baby. I got to go and see if my local bodega is still open after this one, because I need something good. Robert Cross, I can't wait. Is RJ the most underrated player in the NBA? Yes. 53 wins. You're gonna take that hashtag all the way until they actually get it, aren't you? Is he the most underrated player in the NBA? For this, I mean, look, I obviously made light of it at the beginning of the live stream. For this player, I can't even say this with a straight face. For this player to get look, whoever made that fucking list, I don't even know who made the list. Seth Partnow. And it wasn't just that list. There were other lists. There's under 25 lists. There's under 23 lists. He's never on any of these fucking lists. All these people who make all these fucking lists, like, they don't watch him every day. They don't hear him in press conferences. They don't see the demeanor. They don't see the week to week, game to game, month to month improvement. And I get it, because if you look at him last year, okay, it's still an effective field goal percentage under 50. It's the rim finishing still isn't really there. There was a big jump in the 3-point percentage. Is that real? I don't know. But again, they don't know what we know, because we see him every day and we know the mentality. And we know what's behind it. We know the work ethic. We know the challenges that he's faced. We know I know how bad he was as a rookie. He was not good. So yeah, I do think coming into the season, he was the most underrated player in the NBA, because how do you have a guy like that? I mean, shit, if he has more games like this, he's going to be in the All-Star conversation this year. What else? I don't know what more there is to say. Ryan Huang, a lot of hate tonight, but RJ put the game away down. A lot to hate tonight, but RJ put the game away down the stretch, and that's the bottom line. Has the most improved player campaign begun yet? If it hasn't, it will now. Jeez, because man, it's not going to take much, because he has all the makings. What I saw tonight that was so big was there was never any question who the offense was going through down the stretch. Obviously, there was a couple of Randle ISOs that didn't go so well, but other than those, it was RJ, and that's going to be interesting, because Randle is still the guy. He's still the guy. He's still the leader. He's still the number one. But do we see moments where you're like, oh, who is the alpha on this team? Or does it just kind of go back to more normal next game? Something worth watching. I have spent more time praising Julius Randle as a leader for this franchise and this team than arguably anyone. But this is going to be a real test, because he's gotten all the praise. He's gotten all the praise over the last year and a half. And if this isn't just a blip, and I don't think it is, I don't think any of us think it is, if this is going to be more the norm, how willing and how able, two different things, how willing and how able is Julius Randle going to be to turn over the keys a little bit more? That's going to be a real test, and we'll see if he's able to do it, should it come to that. We're not there yet, because again, this is one game. It's the best game of his career. Let's see a few more like this, but I can't help but be overly exuberant, because I have been hard on him for over 2 years now. So this, it's great to see. Jean-Baptiste Piron, planning my MSG trip in March 2022 from Ireland. Oh, can you bring a Guinness over with you, laddie? That's Scottish? Dolores, that's laddie? Where do they say that?
I don't know. Not Ireland.
No? Scotland? Laddie? Andrew, help me out here. Can't believe that RJ will be an all-star by the time I get there. Bing fucking bong. Good comment. Very nice. He might be. I mean, shit, at this point. Brian Benjamin. I don't see Quickley blossoming, because we have two good point guards last year. Last year we had Rose and that other guy. So I don't see Emmanuel Quickley playing much or contributing. That's a bit much for me. I think Emmanuel Quickley is still going to have his moments. I think he's still going to be effective, and I think this team's still going to need him to reach their ceiling. I think he's not playing well right now. I get the point guards thing, but like there's going to be nights when Rose isn't very good. He wasn't great tonight. There will be nights when Kemba's off, and I still think there will be moments where they close games, with him. But we'll see. I'm not too down on Quickly yet. Rage X. I'm possibly the biggest Julius stan, but I can't defend that performance today. It's not defensible, especially because we saw it seep through on the other end of the floor on a few possessions. And I think Julius will realize that, and I don't think it's going to be a repeat thing. It's one thing to miss shots, but to not try on defense. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not trying on defense. I just think to turn this into a positive, I think his defense for the most part this season has been like team leader worthy. Like he has put his money where his mouth is. I really think he's had some phenomenal defensive stretches tonight. Tonight was not one of them. But I'm not saying he's not trying. It just he was off. I think what was going on at one end affected what happened on the other end, and that's look, he's human. And sorry, one before I read CT Pittman's comment, the patron saint of the super chat. I think where the disconnect was for me after the Chicago game with Julius was that he had a rough game, but like there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, Julius can't have that game. Julius has to be better." And I think the reality, and I don't think anyone's going to argue with this, is that Julius is a top 25 player in the league. I think probably, maybe he's a top 20 player, top 20, top 25. Go down the list of like the top 10 guys. That's not where Julius is, and that's okay. And I think, when you have a guy who's just like a regular old all-star, like you're gonna have more uneven performances. Like there are only so many. You could name the guys: Dame, Embiid, Jokic, KD, Giannis, LeBron, maybe AD. You want to throw in there? Kawhi. I'm forgetting some guys. Steph. When you're a level down from that, like you're gonna have more uneven performances, and you're gonna have ruts where you maybe don't play great. And this season is gonna be the test to see what is Julius? Is he a top 20 guy? Is he a top 25? Is he a top 30 guy? Is he more like a top 35 guy, top 40 guy? Whatever he is, I'm happy we have him because he really did turn things around. But tonight, again, I had to give him some compliments because I've been trashing him. Not great tonight. CT Pittman. This is the RJ we envisioned when we drafted him. And the only thing I'm going to say about Julius is he needs to check himself. Yeah, it's good. I didn't even know you were going to mention Julius before I went on that little rant. His body language says a lot. Yeah, but look, again, this guy's been I don't want to turn this into a Julius referendum live stream because tonight's about RJ. But I think we really do need to stop, take a deep breath, realize what he's meant to the organization over the last year. And he's not in a great place right now. But that's fine. It's okay. He'll get it back. He'll be fine. Hush Zoo. Elfrid Payton would have tried his best to ice out RJ. I noticed today, by the way, Elfrid Payton through 2 games has a negative 12 net rating. Only 2 games. This team is really special. I do think they're pretty special. I think they got a high ceiling. Love that Randle's willing to take a back seat to play Robin to RJ. Well, he did towards the end tonight. He wasn't doing it all night long. So let's push the brakes on that one a little bit. Toronto next, back-to-back 30 for RJ. We'll see. Listen, that Toronto team's feisty. I like that Toronto team. They could defend really well. RJ, I would imagine, is going to have OG and Anunoby on him. That's not going to be fun for RJ. If RJ Barrett goes for 30 again against OG Anunoby, then we're just it's gonna be silly time here on the live stream after that game. I would love to see it though, and I'm not putting anything past the kid. I'm done putting limits on RJ Barrett. Not that I've really done that a lot, but in case I ever did. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kevin? Not only was RJ's defense shooting awesome, but his passing was incredible. His passing was the best part of the game. I love the threes. I love the finishes. Both great. I said it on the halftime Zoom, and I'll say it again now. For me, when I thought about RJ Barrett before the draft, I was like, oh, he's a wing who can score, but he's also a playmaker to some extent. We didn't know how much he was going to be a playmaker, but we knew there was some playmaking upside in there. And we saw it at Duke to a certain extent. So over the last 2 years, I'm not going to say that I've been like disappointed in his playmaking, but I've been just wanting more because we see flashes of the playmaking. We see a nice lob to Robinson here and Robinson there, and like a nice kick to the corner here or there. And he makes the right play and he makes the smart play. And other than his loose handle this year, I think he doesn't make silly turnovers. But I guess I've wanted to see a little bit more growth on that in that area because it's the part of his game that I think I was probably the highest on coming into the league. And so for tonight, for him to he was the best playmaker on the court. To Mitch, the wraparound to Taj, that last one to Taj towards the end of the game, when everybody in the arena thought he was going to take the shot, and he waited until the last moment to pass it, and that's why Taj was so wide open. That was so incredibly impressive. There just aren't a lot. I mean, there aren't a lot of 6'6" brick shithouse wings that can shoot and defend that could make that pass in the league today, and he made it. And that's really special and really exciting. So many nice feeds to Taj. There you go. Think you were a bit hard on Kemba. He was fine. Yeah, look, Kemba's shooting 57 or whatever % from deep. I'm not complaining about Kemba, but like that one lazy pass got under my skin a little bit because it's beneath him. It's beneath him. Kemba's so much better than that. But no, I thought Kemba had a nice game. That's fair. The Neil's next door. Harry Donut Flow. That's great. That's really, I love that. That's very good. Man, you guys, again, it is mischief night. It is, people got probably Halloween parties and stuff. And the fact that we have 700 strong in here, over 100 likes. Can't thank you guys enough. Amazing stuff. Dom Cappuccini, where would we be without Dom? I think our off night on D partly was on a gassed and outworked Mitch. I'm going to read the rest of the comment, then I'll get back to that. I don't think it will happen these next couple games. Has Kemba always had an issue for bad turnover games or just a matter of pressing? I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of him over his career. His turnover numbers haven't been terrible over the years. That's what's been so odd about it. They're just random, why, how could you make that pass? I'm not worried about Kemba. As far as Mitch goes, Valanciunas, look, he may have his issues on defense. He is one of the top. He's one of the top 5 offensive centers in the NBA in terms of generating his own offense. You got Jokic, Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns. And then I think Valanciunas is probably 4th. I mean, there are obviously guys like Capella and Ayton, elite, dive guys. Bam Adebayo is more of a playmaking 5. But in terms of just guys who, if they're getting after it, there's nothing really you could do to stop them. Valanciunas is on that level. He's that good. I think it was a rough matchup. I thought Mitch actually played him pretty well in the first half. And then at some point it kind of tailed off and he I don't think Mitch was playing him poorly, but there was just that little extra something that was missing. And maybe he was a little gassed. I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair. And again, among the list of things I'm not worried about Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson's been fantastic. CT Pittman, back for more. My God, love you, CT. This would have been an absolute blowout if not for Valanciunas in the first half. He kept them in the game. Yeah, I think it was partially due to that and partially due to the Knicks just resting or relaxing, as it were. The turnovers, the extra effort. Go watch obviously, we watched their game against Chicago, and for 45 minutes, I thought that was some of the most stifling defense that they've played all season long. And then tonight just, wasn't to that level. It was here and there, but it wasn't to that level consistently. Hush Zoo, what's going on, Hush? Like Harden, I think the new rules are affecting Jew. Maybe. I honestly hadn't given a lot of thought to that. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Certainly possible because he definitely forced it in there a few times tonight, and the double clutch when he didn't run back on defense, like you could tell he was going for the foul, and didn't happen. Good call, Hush. Very good call. Jeremy Chase, thank you for your contribution to the super chat. Steven Martinez, thank you for your contribution to the super chat. I think is Jay Boogie in here? Did Jay Boogie actually come and check out Knicks Film School? Jay Boogie of Knicks Fan TV fame. Well, if you're here, welcome. David Crockett, my main man, David. How are you? I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Always good to hear from you, my friend. Marcellus Wallace voice. I'm not going to do a Marcellus Wallace voice. When do we get concerned about Zion Williamson looking like Mike Sweetney? That's mean. You know what? That is not my fucking problem right now. I'll say that. That is all I'm going to say. I'll say this. I'm happy we got our guy. He's pretty good. Our guy is pretty good. I could do a decent curb Larry David, but I can't do a Marcellus Wallace. Regular Joe. Macri, I disagree with you about Randle tonight. He deferred all night, only took 9 shots, and he only turned it over once. He could have forced it a lot more. That's fair. He could have forced it a lot more. You're right. No, you know what? That's fair. I really don't, because he didn't shoot it that much. But the looks that he got, or the shots that he took, I guess I am letting the shots that he took affect me a lot because they were really bad looks, and but you're right. No, that's fair. I did think. No, that's fair. It's a fair comment. It's a very fair comment. I am probably being too hard on him. I guess the reason I'm obviously stuck in my own head right now is I'm trying to think, like, there are times where, and I think this goes back to CT's body language point, where we saw Julius struggle last year at times. And I think during the games that he struggled, he would still draw attention to himself. And he would use that attention to parlay looks for teammates. And I would have to go back and really watch, but I don't really feel like he did that a lot tonight. And the reason I'm relating it to the body language point is I think there were just possessions where he wasn't as into it, maybe. I would need to go back and watch, though. I think that's a really fair comment. It's really making me think. So good job by you, Regular Joe. That's fair. And again, to be very clear, Jules we're not where we are without Jules. So whether it was a terrible game, a bad game, a just slightly below average game, he gets forgiven. So, we'll see. I think he'll be fine though. I think they'll be fine. JD with the comment, he's our Draymond. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, well, Draymond doesn't want to shoot it, so I don't know if he's our Draymond. But if he ends up being a Draymond type playmaker for them, I mean, that would be wonderful. Draymond's one of the better playmakers in the league that we have today. Okay, let me talk about a couple other guys, because I did think that there was more to talk about tonight than just RJ and obviously Julius. Kemba, I've mentioned it obviously before, but I want to say it again. The fact that we have a starting point guard who is shooting 57% from downtown is very nice. And again, the Knicks scored 123 points tonight. Somebody just asked what was the score. 123-117. They won this game. Let me see if I could get an updated real time. Are the Knicks the best offense in the NBA? Because I have a funny feeling they might be after this game. No, it hasn't updated yet, unfortunately. We'll check it. It'll update soon. I have a feeling they might be the best offense in the NBA. I think someone tweeted about this within the last week or within the last several days. Whether you think Kemba's been amazing, whether you think Kemba's been very good, or whether you think Kemba's just been good, we cannot have a conversation about this team and what they are and what they're capable of without talking about the difference between Kemba Walker and the other guy, who I'm not going to say his fucking name. And it's not his fault that he's not good, but he was here and he was what we had, and it wasn't very good. And again, the Tom Thibodeau Coach of the Year campaign last year was built on one thing and one thing only, and it was built on Elfrid Payton as a starting point guard for a 41-31 NBA team that made the playoffs as a 4 seed. That they managed to pull that rabbit out of that hat. To this day, I still don't know how they did it with him playing 20 minutes a game. It was absolutely miraculous. But they don't have it anymore. And now, again, we'll see what it ends up being, because it's, come on, NBA stats site, get up to date on it. They're just a different level of team, and not to be outdone, Jeremy Chase, I just saw that comment. Not going to read it. It's a good comment. Not to be outdone, Evan Fournier, I feel like we get some bad Fournier moments every game where he puts up a shot or two that are just like, what are you doing? He's an interesting player. I'll say that. The good of Fournier has so vastly outweighed any bad. And his ability to put the ball on the floor and penetrate the defense and just open up things and just like take those shots and hit those shots from deep. I mean, I think he's hitting around 50% from deep. Massive. Absolutely massive. Between him and Walker and this version of RJ and Randle, again, not his best game tonight. I think we could agree on that. But been okay so far. And now Mitch back. Like, it takes a lot for a team to go from the 24th ranked offense to, again, as I'm looking at it right now, I'm going to keep pressing refresh. They're the 3rd ranked offense in the league. And I really do think they're going to be the 1st ranked offense in when the stats update. Like, it takes a lot. And Fournier, Walker, big up to both of them. And, of course, shout out to Leon Rose for making it happen. Big stuff from the Knicks front office. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kevin? Let's also remember that this Pelicans team, granted, with Brandon Ingram, lost to the Hawks by 1. However, I at least want to start seeing grind until IQ gets going. You're not going to get me there. Team's 5-1. They've had moments that have not been great, have not closed out games well. Tonight they closed out well. Well, RJ closed it out well. This group has earned, with me at least, the currency to 20 games. Give them 20 games. I almost would like not even – I wouldn't even entertain conversations about making rotation decisions before 20 games. But I get wanting to see Grimes. And that's fair, and that's very valid. And I'm excited for Grimes too, and hopefully he plays a role in this team at some point. I got to read this because it's fair. Hosea Blowerstein, the Pacers are now 1-6. Can Rick Carlisle get a smidgen of the hate and slander that Jason Kidd and Mark Jackson get from white NBA media? That's a fair comment. That's a very fair comment. Rick Carlisle was supposed to come and bring order to the Pacers. I have not heard word one about anything there. They've had some injuries. Have not been maybe fully healthy, but I think that's a fair comment. And I think it is speaks to some larger biases, perhaps, amongst the people who cover this sport. And appreciate you making that comment there, Josiah. Thank you. Because it's not something I would have thought to say, to be honest with you. And maybe that's because I have blinders on a little bit. And that's a bad job by me, but good comment. I really want to see the Knicks' updated offensive rating ranking. No, still not there. Okay. Red Rich, we got another comment in the super chat. Kudos to Scott Perry for laying the foundation for this team, drafting RJ and Mitch, signing Randle, and signing Randle. There's another guy I don't give nearly enough credit to. And I think I continue to be hard on Scott Perry for the things that I associate with him with, like the Knox pick, mostly the Knox pick. And I still like the summer of 2019, other than Randle, didn't go great. Elfrid, obviously. I wonder if there was more that could have been done with that summer. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I feel like whatever quibbles that I have with Scott Perry are a result of my perhaps perception of him as a guy who is just like a normal old school NBA guy and not like a high level executive. And that's not a good job by me. He is the architect of this team as much as Leon Rose is. Any credit that Leon Rose gets, Scott Perry should get as well. He did draft RJ. He did not trade down in that draft. God knows what they could have ended up with. Scott Perry should get his flowers. Absolutely. The Melo trade. Thank you, Adam. I still think to a certain extent, and this may be a little bit overstating it. I think to a certain extent, still the most impressive thing Scott Perry's ever done here is the first thing that Scott Perry ever did here, which is the Melo trade. To walk into this situation that he walked into and to come out of that with the pick that turned into Mitchell Robinson and to get expiring contracts for Melo when like Houston was trying to force Ryan Anderson on us and to just navigate that scenario, really good job. The fucking Knox pick. If he had literally picked anyone else besides Kevin Knox, we would have zero qualms about giving Scott Perry all the praise in the world. But it's like, man, I hope that doesn't come back to bite the organization in the ass. Especially with Miles Bridges too. It was always just like McCall was the obvious pick, and then Shea Gilgeous and Porter obviously. But like now with Miles blowing up, it's it's pretty crazy. Either of the Bridges would have been nice, but what can you do? Okay, let's get a couple more comments in the chat. Cody Glock misses Ryan Anderson. Shout out to you, Cody. I do not miss Ryan Anderson, but if you miss Ryan Anderson, that's totally fine. There it is. My hard work has paid off. Let's show this. Can you see it there? The New York Knickerbockers have the number one offense in the NBA by 0.4 points per 100 possessions. That's pretty freaking cool. Man. Scott Perry, Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, you're the coach. Take a bow, all you guys. Brock Aller, Allen Houston, who am I forgetting? William Worldwide West. The New York fucking Knicks have the number one offense in the league. That is wild. And we have a 21-year-old star, in RJ Barrett. How you doing? Absolutely. Man, this has been a fun night. This was like 5 minutes before this game ended. This was like, oh my God. This is not going to be a happy night. This has turned into quite a nice night. So really cool stuff. I'm sorry. I can't believe that stat because just think about where this team was at 2 years ago. 3 years ago. 2 years ago. Last year, the 24th ranked offense in the league. And they're the top offense in basketball right now. My God. Okay. Well, they got to clean it up because for as much as they are the top offense in basketball, they have not played like a great team thus far. And they will need to play like a better team at the very least to accomplish their goals this season. I expect we will see better performances from them. I think this is a result of some season opening unevenness. That being said, 5-1 is 5-1. You will take it any day of the week and twice on Sunday, which it almost is. And on that note, thank you everybody for coming and joining me for a very fun post-game live stream. And I hope everybody has a good and safe Halloween. Last one, Adam asks, yes, no, Eastern Conference Finals. I can't get there yet. I'm close. I'm closer than you think. I'll say that. I'm closer than you think, but I can't get there yet. Maybe, you know what? How about this? Go beat Toronto at home. Go beat Toronto, and then beat Indiana. Get to 7-1, and then play Milwaukee and play Milwaukee tough. Give me a good effort against Milwaukee. I don't need to see a win against Milwaukee. Give me a good effort against Milwaukee. And if you could do those three things, New York Knickerbockers, over the next 3 games, then perhaps we will have some conversations about conference finals. But until then, everybody be well, stay safe, and I will talk to you very soon. Peace out.